Call tonight's council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Staggers.
Present.
Anderson Jr. Benega.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Costello.
Here.
Jamison.
Here.
Knutson.
Here.
Litz.
Here. We have a quorum present for tonight's meeting. Tonight will be led in the invocation by Pastor Keith Lloyd from Celebrate Church here in Sioux Falls. After the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, I ask everyone to please rise.
Let us pray. Father, what a great gift it is to be a leader. Father, I want to thank you for those around this table, that they have been granted and graced with the trust and confidences of the people of this city. And Father, I would ask that you would humble us as well as honor us with the wisdom to face the challenges and make the appropriate decisions of all that lies before us. Father, it's an audacious task to lead, one that I trust that we hold in all of its sacredness, its privileges, and the possibilities of which they've been entrusted. Father, thank you for all our blessings. We have so much to be thankful for. And I would ask that you would forgive us when we fail to thank you for them. So now, Lord, as Solomon taught us, may we lean not upon our own understanding, but on the goodness and the greatness of who you are. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so move. Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jamison seconds. Further comments, motions? Seeing none. All in favor of the consent agenda, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson Jr.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes. All members present voted. Consent agenda is approved 8-0. Now is there a motion to approve the regular agenda?
So move, Benega.
Benega moves. Is there a second?
Second, Anderson.
Brown seconds. Further motions? See none. So all in favor of approving the regular agenda will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson Jr.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes. All members present voted. The regular agenda has been approved 8-0. Now, this is the time that we set aside a period of 5 minutes for public input. Anyone wishes to address the council for 5 minutes, we just ask them to come forward, just give their name.
My name is Bob Reeve. I live at 2116 South Duluth Avenue in Sioux Falls. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak. The subject of my concern today is a change in the licensing law. I want to thank you because this city has one of the best licensing laws already that there is. I've been in 44 states. I know that firsthand. However, there needs to be a change, and that change would be allowing dogs to be microchipped for identification. A microchip is a chip that's placed between the dog's shoulders when he's a pup. When the microchip is activated, the microchip contains the owner's name, address, phone number, and the dog's name. Unlike a tag that can be lost, this chip is forever embedded in the dog as long as it lives. The purpose of having this would be, one, to more quickly identify the dog owner, and two, I believe that most dog owners whose dogs are so chipped do not let their dogs run loose. And I believe in personal responsibility because that is very much needful in owning a dog. My wife and I are the proud owners of a German Shepherd dog who's 10. What I want from this legislation is not to kill the idea of having city license tags, but to enhance it by giving the dog owners who have their dogs microchipped a possible reward of having their dogs given a lifetime license for as long a time as the dog lives. With this, of course, would also come responsibility. After the dog is a year old, the dog would still, even though he's microchipped, would still be required to keep his dog up to date on his shots, as well as not allow his dog to roam. The city could put teeth in the law by saying if the dog roams X amount of times, the dog owner would lose his right to have a lifetime ownership license for his dog, and he'd be forced back into buying a license every other year the way the law is currently. Also, if the dog was picked up and the animal control found that the dog was not did not have the shots that were the shots were not up to date, then also the dog owner would be forced to show proof that the dog had been so properly given the shots that are required, and after maybe a second time of not having his dog so properly given the shots that it needs, the dog and the owner would lose their right to have a permanent licensing. Why do I want this? Not only would it save the dog, not only would it save the city, the owner money, but the dog, when it's found to have a microchip, could be brought back to the owner rather than having it being impounded and having expenses for dog food and whatever that would be entailed if there was no license tag. Of course, again, if the dog was running at large after a certain amount of time, you folks could set the agenda. Then the dog would, as I say, lose its right to have a lifetime licensing. I really am convinced, having had my dog for 10 years, I've had dogs all my life. I really am convinced that the person who really loves their dog, first of all, is not going to let their dog run without the master being with it. Or secondly, the person that loves their dog is certainly not going to allow their dog to go without the proper shots that are required by the city and the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. We've got somebody kind of looking at that, so we'll continue to do that. And thank you very much. Others that wish to address the council for 5 minutes. All you have to do is give your name.
Good evening. As some of you know, 2 years ago, after the vote for the Drake Springs pool, I started a fundraising campaign. Oh, and I'm Teresa Staley. 2 years ago, I started a fundraising campaign to purchase flowers for the Drake Springs area. And first of all, I want to say thank you to 2 council members, Kermit Stagers and Dee Knutson, for their generous gifts to help with this fund. Because of their generosity and other people within our community, we had enough money in our fund to purchase flowers for 2 flower beds at the entrance of Nelson Park. And a group of us gathered last Tuesday and put the flowers in those beds. During the past weeks of planning for these flower beds, I had the pleasure of working with Don Kearney, who is the head of our park department, and 2 wonderful city employees, and I want to recognize these people tonight. Lauren Beard, he is the district park supervisor, and Craig Campbell, the park caretaker at Drake Springs. Lauren and Craig and their wonderful employees were extremely courteous to us and helpful as we worked to put these flower beds in. I am very happy to report that because of the responsible spending in purchasing the flowers, we have money left over in this fund. I have been approached by other people who have indicated that they would like to contribute to it, and because of this, it is my hope that with our donations of time and money, that we will be able to plant more flower beds in this park and work towards making this area a showcase of beauty, similar to what we have at McKinnon Park, in the center of our city. So again, I want to say thank you to those city employees who were so kind and helpful to us during this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Others that wish to address the council for a period of 5 minutes, give your name, please. As I see no one coming forward, we will move into the regular agenda. That's item number 6.
Item 6 is deferred action. A conditional use permit appeal, 5837 South Frontier Trail. The applicant is requesting the conditional use permit to allow for a family daycare of up to 12 children. Approved at the June 3, 2009 Planning Commission meeting with a split vote, 5 yes, 3 no.
Good evening, Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. This item was deferred from a prior council meeting at the request of legal counsel representing the neighborhood who was unable to attend the last council meeting. Just to give a little background, this is an existing single-family residence which is bounded on 3 sides by streets. Frontier Trail on West 69th Street. The occupant of the home and the applicant is Lindsay Brashear, who would like to receive approval for this conditional use to watch between 7 and 8 children at this existing home. During the Planning Commission hearing, we did hear from representatives of the surrounding neighborhood who had concerns about allowing this use, primarily because they believe that this is a business that would be in violation of the neighborhood covenants that are currently in place on this property. As we instructed the Planning Commission at their hearing, since the city has a policy of not enforcing private covenants, that the Planning Commission needed to base their decision on the merits of the requirements that are in the zoning ordinance for this type of a land use and whether or not this would be an appropriate location. The criteria that we look at are whether or not the owner of the property is able to get certification through the city health department, if there's a safe fenced-in play area for the children to use, and also whether or not there's a safe and secure drop-off area for people dropping off their children and picking them up. The Planning Commission, obviously by a split vote, felt that this conditional use does meet those 3 criteria. Since that time, the neighborhood has submitted an appeal to the City Council, and the appeal is based again on the fact that the neighborhood believes that this is a violation of the covenants. We did receive a correspondence again from legal counsel representing the neighborhood that a civil action has been initiated and filed in Lincoln County on July 10th. And we did receive a letter asking that this be deferred again until that civil action has gone through the process. The applicant is here tonight and would like to address the council of wanting to take action. And again, just as a point of information, we have over the years approved 151 locations within the city limits for these types of family daycares.
Questions of Mike on item number 6? Okay. Others that wish to address the council on item number 6? Okay, just come up and just give your name if you would, please.
I'm Lindsay Brashear, and I'm wanting to start the daycare. I've done everything I could to make it a safe place, and I've spent lots of money getting everything done for the daycare. I'm also pregnant at that time, so right now, I'd like an answer, a decision tonight, because they're putting my job on the line, and the bigger I'm getting, I'm almost 6 months now, and nobody wants to hire a pregnant girl, because then, I got to take out for a couple months. I've just been having problems with that. And you can watch up to 6 children anyway, and I only want a few more. So I just really appreciate it if you guys really gave your thoughts about it and just try to do everything I can to do it.
Are there questions of Lindsay? not, thank you very much. Others that wish to address the council on item number 6?
Mr. Mayor, council members, I'm Douglas Dibert, and I represent the some 40-some families in this neighborhood of approximately 55 residences. As a point of order, should the council decide the matter should not be deferred, I do have a short presentation, but on the issue of deferral right now, I have last week filed the civil action in Lincoln County Circuit Court. The primary issue being, as I understand it, what planning and zoning does not wish to address, and I assume the council does not wish to address, that being covenants, since that's a legal matter. With no other comments, unless members of the council have questions of me, I would merely ask that this matter be deferred until the circuit court has decided the matter, since ultimately either party which does not prevail would have the right to appeal to circuit court, and I believe the council, therefore, would not need to spend the time and effort, and this is a matter for the circuit court in the initial phase.
Doug, do you have an approximate time how long it would take the court to meet this?
I filed the matter last week. I sent the papers to Ms. Brashears as a courtesy to ask for admissions of service with today's date as a deadline. I have not received that, so I will serve the papers tomorrow. I would guess 60 to 90 days.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, about 60, 90 days, so that's what you'd be looking at. That's what I was wondering. Other questions? Go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah, just to clarify, if the city council would approve this tonight, this request from Wendy Brashear to be able to have kids in her home, that's not going to have any impact on your lawsuit or anything, is it?
Not in that sense, Mr. Staggers, but I would then appeal the council's ruling to circuit court. So there would then be two actions.
On what grounds would you appeal our decision?
The same.
I can understand it, with the covenant situation, but with our action.
On whatever is a matter of record, I guess.
Thank you very much. Others that wish to address the council on item number 6? Seeing no one that's coming forward, is the wish of the council. Go ahead.
Could I ask Mike to come back? I just have one quick question.
Sure.
Mike, I couldn't find the notes from the Planning Commission, and I'm sure it's my operator problem, but the issue of the commission with the 2 or 3 people that voted against this, what was their concern?
I think they were listening to the neighborhood that said they didn't think it was an appropriate location.
But from a legal standpoint, from the city's code and application process and all the surveys and everything else that needs to be done, there is no violation at this point.
Right. I mean, the 3 criteria that I talked about, the drop-off area, the fenced-in playground, and then the certification from the health department.
Thank you.
Are the 5 that voted in favor of it, that's what they were using for their criteria.
Thanks.
Other thoughts or motions?
Can we just, Mayor?
Pardon?
Can we go back to the first map that was showing 60? Okay, thank you.
You want to what? Any other questions? Any other?
I'd make a motion to approve.
Okay, that's what we need. Is there a motion to approve by Jameson?
Second by Costello.
Costello seconded the motion. Further comments on the motion to approve? Not. All in favor of approving item number 6 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson? Yes. Litz?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 6 has been approved 8-0. Item number 7.
Item number 7 is a new 2009-2010 retail malt beverage license for Greenberg Jewelers Incorporated, Greenberg Jewelers, to be operated at 4829 South Louise Avenue, with the conditional use permit being approved on June 3rd, 2009. Do you want me to keep reading? Item 8 is a new 2009 retail wine license for Greenberg Jewelers Incorporated, Greenberg Jewelers, to be operated at 4829 South Louise Avenue, with the conditional use permit being approved on June 3rd, 2009. Item 9 is a new 2009-2010 retail malt beverage license for LCDD Incorporated, named to be determined, to be operated at 221 South Phillips Avenue, Suite 100, with the conditional use permit being approved on May 6, 2009, pending final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services. Item 10 is a new 2009 retail wine license for LCDD Incorporated, named to be determined, to be operated at 221 South Phillips Avenue, Suite 100, with the conditional use permit being approved on May 6, 2009, pending final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services. Item 11 is a special one-day liquor license request for Hy-Vee Incorporated, all occasions by Hy-Vee, to be operated at the Delbridge Museum of Natural History, 805 South Kiwanis Avenue, on August 8th, October 3rd, and October 10th, 2009, and canceling the June 6, 2009 request, and at the Old Courthouse Museum, 200 West 6th Street, on August 19th, 2009, for wedding receptions. Item 12 is a special one-day liquor license request for Great Bear Recreational Park Incorporated, Great Bear Recreational Park, to be operated at 5901 East Rice Street on August 15, 2009, for a wedding reception. Item 13 is a special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for the Centers for Equality, to be operated at the Terrace Park Band Shell area at 600 North Grange Avenue on July 25, 2009, for the Sioux Falls Gay Pride event. Item 14 is the special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for the Sioux Empire Arts Council, to be operated at the Empire Mall in the Grassy area on the south side of the mall, 4001 West 41st Street, on August 7th to 8th, 2009, for the EMA Fest. Item 14 has been canceled. Council should know.
All right. Thank you, Tamara. Lori Hogstead with the City Attorney's Office, representing items 7 through 14. As Tamara mentioned, item 14 has been withdrawn by the applicant. I can certainly answer questions on 7 through 13.
Are there questions of Lori? Go ahead, Vernon.
Lori, I think I know the reason, but for the public, you might want to explain why a jeweler would want a wine and beer license.
Yes. Items 7 and 8 is for Greenberg Jewelers. It used to be that wine licenses could only be issued to restaurants, and the state law was changed on that last year. And many times we've had situations where companies call and ask if they're able to serve alcohol at their establishments, at their retail establishments. The state revenue department looks at this as selling, because of course people are in there and the purpose is, they're there to purchase something. And in that grounds, the state has determined that they need to be licensed. And as a result, Greenberg's has applied for beer and wine licensing.
Further questions of Lori on items 7 through 13? Others that wish to address the council on those items? Not. Is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval for items 7 through 13, Benninga.
Benninga moves. Is there a second?
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. Further comments on the motion? Seeing none, so all in favor of the motion to approve items 7 through 13 will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Items 7 through 13 have been approved 8-0. I just want to recognize the Boy Scout Troop 229 with Joel Beck. We just want to thank you for coming down here tonight and to watch this City Council in action, so thank you very much. Okay, let's move to item 15.
Item 15 is a first reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, repealing Appendix D entitled Floodplain Management Appendix of the Code of Ordinances of said city.
Good evening. Jeffrey Schmidt, representing planning staff on a couple of items this evening. This first item, there's two items in regards to floodplain management. This first item is repealing the existing ordinance. The ordinance has been in place for 20-some years. We have the ordinance from September of 1982, and prior to moving forward with the recommendation to approve the new ordinance, we're recommending that we repeal it from Appendix D and put it in as Chapter 45 as the next item on the agenda.
Questions of Jeff on item number 15? Let's go to 16.
Item 16 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by adding a Chapter 45 to be entitled Floodplain Management Ordinance.
Chapter 45 is the new floodplain ordinance. We currently administer the floodplain management in the City of Sioux Falls. It comes in basically two stages. There's the floodplain firm maps for the City of Sioux Falls that have been online since October of 2007. So what this really helps the public do is understand what their risk is for flooding in the City of Sioux Falls. For the public listening, historically it was the 100% or the 100-year floodplain. People were misled or misunderstood that does that mean it only floods once every 100 years? So FEMA has changed that. It's a 1% annual chance. That was really what they meant. You have a 1% chance of flooding in these floodplain areas. At the same time, what we're trying to do from the city standpoint is let the public understand what their risk is by getting this information out there. Also, as the floodplain administrator, what we're trying to do is if people are looking at these areas, in the floodplain, they can still do some construction there, but they have to raise their buildings above the floodplain. They have to make sure that their structures are being flood-proofed and addressing those floodplain issues. So that's why the floodplain ordinance is being addressed. Right now, we're in the letter of final determination stage with FEMA, so that we have 90 days from March 2nd to September 2nd to adopt the floodplain maps and the accompanying ordinance, so that, again, the people of Sioux Falls, any citizens, can go through and have this flood insurance for the City of Sioux Falls.
Questions of Jeff on item 16? Let's go 17.
Item 17 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota by amending Appendix B, Zoning Ordinance, Chapter 15.43, DR Design Review District.
The Airport Overlay District's been a while since we brought it to City Council. It was back last before you in December of 2007. At that point, there was really a couple items that you wanted to hear more about, so I thought I'd bring that forward to you. The intent for the public and the people at home is really to protect not only the Sioux Falls Regional Airport, but also the public, the community around there, from the aviation aspect of the airport. The Airport Overlay District had a study group of 11 members back in July to September that looked at this area. Since that time, what we've discussed from the two overlay districts is that the boundaries have been decreased from the original overlay district. We are still looking at standards for rezoning. Before it was in regards to building permits. Now it's not in regards to building permits as much as it is for rezoning property. What we're saying is that non-residential is encouraged up in this area, but again, really from a habitable standpoint, we would rather not encourage residential development up by the airport because of the noise issues. If standards are not met, they can still come before Planning Commission, have a review and address their issues, and then still maybe be able to proceed forward with approval. Now, again, back in December, the real issues that were raised by this body was in regards to the easements. We currently have easements in place. However, you can see in that last bullet that the release of the easements are being addressed. I have them all signed and notarized. The clerks are going to be attesting those, and those will be filed with the City Council or the County Commission as soon as this public hearing and this process gets completed. The other issue was in regards to the easement language being finalized and put in place so that we can move forward. Now, just to clarify that, if a property owner would come in and have agriculturally zoned property and wanted to rezone their property to residential, we would ask for an easement on residentially zoned property. Not if it's already residential, not if it's a single-family house, not if they're doing construction on that house in the area. However, if they're currently agricultural or some other zone and they're requesting to do it to residential, we would request an easement because of, again, the impact that those homeowners are going to have in the future. Generally, the people would probably support putting an easement on their property. If they don't want to put an easement, they have a public hearing in front of the body to say why they wouldn't want to. At that point, I think we're comfortable having them going on record saying, we don't think noise is ever going to be an issue. They're going in front of a body like this. It's going on tape. They're explaining to you that noise is not going to be an issue to them. That's the whole intent of either the easement or them justifying why they don't think a noise from the airport is going to be an issue in the future.
Questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff, on what you just mentioned here about having them come before and saying, hey, we're not going to be concerned about noise.
Correct.
Do we anticipate that just being a formality? Once they say, hey, we don't care about the noise, we still want to build there, we'll just go ahead and kind of automatically approve it? But we have them on record saying in the future they can't use this as an excuse to sue?
And I can't assume how a public body will vote on that, but that's the way I see it taking place. Again, the intent is that residential is really impacted up there. One more slide. The area that we're talking about for easements is a very significantly smaller area. It's the interstate, I-29 on the west, I-90 on the north, Russell on the south, and Cliff Avenue on the east. Just property within that small framework. If you're coming in there and rezoning property within that area, we would prefer it to be office, commercial, or industrial property. And so if someone came in and said, I really need to rezone my property to residential, I think most people would say, so I could do commercial instead, I could do industrial, they would probably take that higher value. But if they stood up and said, no, we want residential, we have to have residential next to the airport, I would think the bodies would understand that. But again, I can't speak for you.
It looks like, we are incorporating quite a bit of land east of Minnesota Avenue that's already residential. In the past, have we had any of those neighbors in that residential area complain about noise or anything?
I've heard from some of them, yes, they come in. I mean, I have them also come in on the floodplain issues also.
Because, yeah, I guess I'm just a little concerned we're including them in this. I mean, because it's already, large part is already residential. And anyway, thank you.
Further questions? Let's go to 18.
Item 18 is a first reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 1100 South Blaine Avenue and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a petition by Dakota Abilities. They are currently operating in a group home at this location for 10 residents. They would like to expand their facility by adding a attached garage for storage and for loading and unloading residents that are occupying the facility. The adjacent property that they want to add is currently zoned commercial, and this is a request to change it to residential.
Questions of Mike on item number 18? Let's go for 19.
Item 19 is a first reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property from 22nd Street to 26th Street and from Grange Avenue to Colville Avenue, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. This Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a petition by Sanford USD Medical to expand their campus zoning. This is property that at one time was part of the North American Baptist Seminary. It has now been acquired by Sanford, and they do have future plans to expand their campus into this area. This is another situation like we had some time back when Sanford wanted to expand their campus zoning to the north. This particular rezoning area includes a total of 53 properties, of which 34 are currently owned by Sanford. And we have gone through the new process now where all the property owners have been notified and have given their approval to the rezoning. So at least as of today, we have not heard from any of those other property owners that they are against the rezoning. The residential uses would still be allowed with this zoning change, but it does give kind of a squared off future area for the potential expansion of the medical campus.
Questions of Mike? Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, we're talking about 19 properties that have not responded, that they don't object to this.
Yes.
I guess my concern is that, maybe they're off on vacation, maybe they're, live somewhere else in the country, and I guess maybe shouldn't we kind of get an affirmative instead of just, well, they didn't respond, that they actually do support this?
We have that, based again on the ordinance amendment that you requested, that there has to be approval by the property owners.
Yes, but 19 have not affirmed it yet, have they?
I believe they have.
Or have they? Or there's just no response?
Okay.
Yeah. They have affirmed it?
I will verify that, but
okay.
they have been notified, but I will verify if
Okay.
they've affirmed it or not.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Not, is there a motion to set the hearing date for items 15 through 19 for August 3rd?
I so move Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. All in favor of the motion to set the hearing date for August 3rd for items 15 through 19 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present voted. Items 15 through 19, hearing date is set for August 3rd. 8-0. Item 20.
Item 20 is a resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the placement of a sculpture on public property, Sertoma Park.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Russ Sorensen, representing the City Planning Office on this item. Before you this evening is a resolution to approve the placement of a sculpture known as Summer Garden on city property at Sertoma Park. Special persons and guests associated with this project include Ms. Wendy Lewis, who is the director of the Sertoma Butterfly House, and Mr. Lee Larson, who is a volunteer at the Sertoma Butterfly House, members of the Parks and Recreation Board and staff, and the Sioux Falls Visual Arts Commission. 2 members are here this evening with Neela Kelly and then also Anne Marie Davis. The Sioux Falls Visual Arts Commission and Parks and Recreation Board, they do encourage and recommend the outdoor exhibits of public art in our community. A 2008 sculpture walk entry consisting of a beautiful and colorful tile mosaic butterfly sculpture known as Summer Garden was designed and constructed by sculptor artist Sean Love. The sculpture measures about 30 inches in height, 28 inches in width, and 48 inches in length, and has a high visibility and be very complementary to the Butterfly House building in the grounds. The sculpture has been purchased by the Sertoma Butterfly House volunteers, and it is to be maintained by them. The site placement for the sculpture will be prominently displayed on a precast base at the Butterfly House main entrance within the Sertoma Park and have accent lighting. There will be an informational plaque acknowledging the Summer Garden sculpture, the artist, and providing a brief commentary about the Sertoma Butterfly House and the volunteers. Various commissions and boards, including the Sioux Falls Visual Arts Commission and the Parks and Recreation Board, have reviewed this proposed sculpture and its placement within the Sertoma Park area. All boards have unanimously and respectively recommended approval of this sculpture and its placement as presented at Sertoma Park. And I'd ask if Wendy Lewis or Lee Larson have any additional comments. If I may, Mayor.
Thank you, Russ. Questions of Russ? Others that wish to address the council on item number 20? Not.
I move for approval Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Brown seconds.
Brown seconds. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 20 will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes. All members present voted. Item 20 has been approved 8-0. Item 21.
Item 21 is a resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving an inventory list of artistic bicycle rack designs on public property.
Again, Russ Sorensen with the City Planning Office, representing this particular item. This is, again, a resolution to approve an inventory list or a catalog of artistic bicycle racks on public property. This is in response to the Sioux Falls Visual Arts Commission's 2009 call for art. We have special persons and guests associated, again, are members of the Visual Arts Commission here this evening. The Visual Arts Commission invited professional and amateur South Dakota resident artists of all backgrounds to participate in their two requests for proposals for a call for art. One, that an artist-designed freeform bicycle rack and an artist-designed standard form bicycle rack that could be placed upon abandoned parking meters. The primary goals of this project are to promote energy conservation by encouraging our citizens and visitors to safely bike within our community and provide public usable art for aesthetically functional bicycle parking. The intent is for the selected artistic bicycle rack designs to become part of an acceptable comprehensive city inventory, or a catalog, if you will, that is acceptable to the city and designated for public and private entities to consider in addressing bicycle parking on their properties. There's no guarantee that the selected artist or the bicycle rack design will be purchased or placed for bicycle parking by the city of Sioux Falls or a private citizen. Up to $2,000 was the amount for the freeform design, and designs up to $400 for the abandoned parking meter rack designs were considered in their calls for art. There's a statewide call for art that was presented on March 26th of this year. The proposals that were received were due on the May 14th. The Visual Arts Commission was very pleased with their responses to their call for art. There were 68 submittals by 20 artists that responded to their commission call for art. The Visual Arts Committee subcommittee provided a subcommittee to oversee the jury panel's review, and they presented the Visual Arts Commission with their jury panel comments. Artistic requirements and physical requirements were considered in their reviews. On June 16th this year, the Visual Arts Commission recommended that 6 artists and their 10 artistic bicycle rack designs be included as acceptable comprehensive city inventory or catalog for bicycle parking on public or private entities and properties. The artists and their works will be included. Mr. Paul Borboom for an artwork of High Wheeler on your screen. And this would be a standard design that could be placed on a parking meter. The second was Mr. Jordan Erickson, who was a student at the University of Sioux Falls, for known as Paperclip, and this was a free-form design. Third, there was a proposal by Mr. Rick Haugen, known as Rims. This too would be placed on a parking meter. And then Mr. Harry Klesson had 4 proposals of a free-form design: dogs, bird rack, bike tree, ring walker, and then Mr. Shane Yunke also had 4 submittals, and these were free-form designs. And Mr. Kelly Rosenberger, she was also a student at USF, and her title of her artwork piece was called Beauty of a Vase, and that would be a free-form design. It's important to note at this time that only the 10 artistic bicycle rack designs and not their specific locations are to be considered. If an artistic bicycle rack is to be placed on public building grounds, such as a city building facility or an abandoned parking meter or along the river greenway or street right-of-way, then the various city agency reviews would be conducted, including a review by the Visual Arts Commission, who would all in turn make recommendations back to the City Council for specific placement. If a private citizen or business desires to place an artistic bicycle rack on their private property, then no further action would be taken by the City Council. The artistic business matter would be between the business owner and the artist. This project, we feel, will enhance the streetscapes and the public grounds and spaces with artistic designs for bicycle parking in our community. Commissioners, do you have anything else to add at this time?
Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned $2,000 and $400. Is that how much was paid for to the artists for getting these? Or can you explain that a little bit?
There are no public funds expended on this call for art. The $2,000 limit and the $400 limit, that was the ceiling limit that an artist would have to address in their call for art in terms of materials, their labor, transportation, and installation on public or private properties. But no city public monies were expended on this call for art.
So in the future, though, if we do buy some of these, then of course we'll at that time pay.
That would be what was listed.
Okay.
up to those amounts.
Further questions?
Russ, it's intriguing to me, but I kind of feel like the guy who goes to the party and eats the garnishments instead of the hors d'oeuvres. If I'm riding my bike, how am I going to know I can chain my bike to that and it's not a sculpture or something?
That's a very good question. These artistic pieces of work would be designated for bicycle parking. We don't want to have any conflicts with sculpture walk or anything like that. And we would not be interfering with the pedestrian orientation of sculpture walk in that program. But they would be in areas that could be conducive for bicycle parking to serve our downtown areas, the Carnegie Town Hall, City Hall, the zoo perhaps, or even along the river greenways. There would be little logos or a plaque or something that would designate that this is a facility area that could be parked for your bike.
Thank you, Russ.
Further questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 21? Not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Litz.
Litz moves, is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve item 21? Seeing none, all in favor to approve will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 21 has been approved 8-0. Item 22.
Item 22 is a resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Annexation 2009-0601, 81st Street and Minnesota Avenue, Tracom.
This is a parcel of land that's about 5.8 acres in size. We have a petition for annexation from Tracom Properties to LLC. This property is located just south of Landscape Garden Center on the west side of Minnesota Avenue.
Questions of Mike on item number 22? Others that wish to address the council on item number 22? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Benninger.
Benninger moves. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconds. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 22 will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present and voted. Item 22 has been approved 8-0. Item 23.
Item 23 is a resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Annexation 2009-0501, South Dakota 42 and South Dakota 11, South Dakota DOT land.
This is property that was acquired by the State of South Dakota Department of Transportation for right-of-way purposes. It's approximately 1/2 acre of land area, and it is being requested for annexation so that it can be incorporated into future improvements on South Dakota Highway 42 as well as South Dakota 100, which is currently Powder House Road. This used to be residential property.
Questions of Mike on item 23? Others that wish to address the council on item number 23? Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Brown.
I'll
Brown
second
moves.
the motion. Knutson.
Brown moves. Knutson seconds. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 23 will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 23 has been approved 8-0. We're at the end of the day. Tonight, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Jameson moves. Second.
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. Okay. All in favor of the motion to adjourn will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson Jr.?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
We stand adjourned.